Hello guys and welcome to the second episode of the Blender tutorial series. I saw on the last video we had I uploaded it to yesterday and we had 2 comments, so thanks. Really appreciate it that people like it. I mean, it's just 2 people, but I mean it's still people that appreciate the stuff that I do. So yeah, let's just jump right into doing what I want to show you in this episode. So basically, in this episode, we're gonna go over how to use the nodes, how to make materials, how to color stuff, how to texture stuff to give your scenes life, like to express the mood of your scene or whatever. You'll see when we get into it. So first up, you saw I started the render server. Boom. Render server started. Blender. Next one, Blender Octane Edition. Just gotta load up. So, yeah. There we are. Let me just quickly check my sound settings. Just real quick. Let me check. I'm sorry. Here. Where is it? It's gone now. Nice. Gotta open it again. So let's quickly check if the microphone is so guys can hear me good. There we go. Yes, you can hear me fine. So yeah, sorry. So we're gonna jump right into it with the default cube right here. So we can get rid of this light because lights don't work in Octane. Lights from Blender Cycles and Eevee don't work in Octane. So if you know anything about like Blender nodes, like about cycle nodes or Eevee nodes, it's gonna help you a little bit, but most of the things you know are not gonna work in Octane because they have different nodes. So let's open the new tab right here, the new window. How are we gonna do that? So as I said in the last episode, I think I said it. Yeah, I basically said that it's the UI of Blender is highly customizable. And what we can do is we can go up here until it makes that hit marker thing, click and drag over. What it's gonna do is gonna split our screen, but now you're like, wait, well, we have two of the same things now. We don't want that. That's useless. But up here where it has the grid with the little circle on it, you can click, and this is basically everything you can have. You can put here, you can put the timeline, like what you have down here. You can put anything here. So it's like, as I said, it's highly customizable. You can put for example, where is it? The outliner. This one. You can put it right here. It's highly customizable. As I said, do what you do what you want to do with your UI. Yeah. So basically what we need right now is shader editor. This is what we need. And you can click on the screen right here and click N to get rid of the side thingy, or you can just go here and drag it in. Yeah. So basically these are the normal Blender nodes. These are cycle and Eevee nodes, but with these nodes we don't need them because they don't work in Blender Octane. So I'll show you guys. So let's go to render mode. Boom, we have our cube right here, and if we click on our cube, click on the cube, it's going to display the nodes, basically the material that we have created. It's going to display it right here. So if we click on the camera now, nothing is going to be here because first up we can't add materials to the camera, and the camera doesn't have a material because we can't add one. But that's a good example. Here, let's get a new one. Let's get a new object in here. Let's get a circle. No, not a circle. Sorry. Circle, delete. Let's get a cone. So what we can do is if you click on the cone, you see it doesn't have anything because there's no material currently on the cone. Yeah, so on the camera, if you see, it's grayed out. The new button. That's how we create a new material. It's grayed out because we can't add one to the camera because the camera is not an object because we see through the camera. But if we click on the cone, you see it's not grayed out anymore. We can click on it. So boom, if we click on it, it gives us the default material, the universal material. Universal basically means that we can use this material for basically anything, but in my case, like I also do this in Cinema 4D, I use the diffuse, glossy, or specular materials. The diffuse material, here, let's get it out. We can just click on this or like drag and select this one and hit the delete button to get rid of it. Now we can press to get into the to the menu where we can select different nodes. You press shift, hold down shift, and press A. It's gonna bring up the add tab. And if we press S for search, or we can just click on it, but I usually use S, it basically gives us this. And now we can type in the material we want. So we want a diffuse material. You see right here, not layer, we want a material. So here it is. This material only has a diffuse, a color, roughness, opacity, transmission, and bump, normal, and displacement. Yeah, let's just go ahead and plug this in. I'm going to tell you, volume. Volume is basically fog and haze and yeah, fog, haze, and all that good stuff. That's volume. That's a volume. But when it says out matte, it's a matte, so it's a surface. You want to plug an out matte. That always goes into the surface. And first up, another reason why why the out matte goes into surface, why materials go into surface, because you want the surface to have this material, right? So, material right here. Now, this cone has the diffuse material. We can make this. We can just click on here and make this any color we want. You see it changes color. Let's make this red. Let's make this red. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, that's red. Let's make it red. And basically, when this material is red, if we click on our cube again, boom, it changes. Why does it change? Because the cube has the default material applied, which is still in the normal one, which is still in even cycles. But we want to get rid of this. And Shift A, S to get new materials, and we need an output. Material output. This represents your object. Everything you plug into here is going to be displayed on your object. So we want a diffuse material, and we're going to plug that into the surface. Boom. Now our cube also has a diffuse material. But you can see, this is a different diffuse material. This diffuse material is called material. We will call this cube. And the other one changes. We'll call this cone. And yeah, you see now, when we click on these two, I think you know what I want to tell you. If you click on these materials on the objects in the viewport, they show you their materials that are applied to them right here. So, for example, let's actually make this blue or something. Yeah, let's make this blue. Now we have these two. And now you're like, yeah, but maybe I have a material on my cone that I also want to have on another object. So let's get another object in here. Add mesh UV sphere, for example. We get our sphere right here. Maybe it's hard to see. There you go. We have our sphere right there. And now you're like, yeah, but I want the cone material on our sphere. How you do that is by clicking on this drop down window that has this little, people say atomic logo. nuclear logo. Just it's like a material ball. Like just click on this drop down window. You don't have to click on the arrow. Just click on it. Boom. It displays you all the existing materials that have been created on objects. So now we said we want our cone material on the circle. So we click on cone and boom, it applies the material. And now another thing. If you now go ahead and click on the cone and change, for example, because you want to change the color of this, you click on the sphere to get the material, and you click here to change the color. But now you're like, whoa, I just want the color of the sphere to be changed, not the cone. What you're doing is you're modifying the material group cone. Basically, to get another color on this thing, you rather have to make a new material or click on this little 2 right here. So let's put this back to red and click on our sphere and click on the 2. It basically makes a cone .001. It's just like a number. So now if we click on the drop down window, there's cone and there's cone 001. And now if we have cone 001 selected and change the color of this, it's just going to change the color of the cone, of the sphere. There you go. Yes, so now we could change the name to sphere. And yeah, this is now our sphere material that we can apply to whatever we would want. So, yes, that's how, I hope you understood how this is functioning now. And now we can start playing around with the nodes. So basically, we have on our cube right now, we have a diffuse material, but the diffuse material, it's boring. We can't do a lot with it. We could just turn up roughness and bump map and all that stuff. We're gonna get into bump, normal, and displacement in a second. Not in a sec. Sorry, we're gonna get into that in the next tutorial tomorrow, or maybe today. So our diffuse material, it's kind of boring. So we want something different. So let's just delete it. And if the viewport actually refreshes now, it doesn't have a material because there's nothing connected to the material output of cube, of the material cube that this cube has applied. So what if we want, we can just type material and it shows us like the materials we can have. For example, if we want a glossy material on our cube, it's basically gonna give us a glossy material on the cube. So let's delete these and make a simple scene setup. So I'm gonna take a plane, go to the scale, and scale this. Or no, we won't do it with this. We will do it via the properties. So we select our plane, click on this. These are the object properties that I've talked about in the tutorial yesterday, and we want to change the scale. So now we could just go ahead and drag all these up to have the same thing, or type it in, but that's just time consuming. And designers, yeah, they want to get it done fast. They want to get good looking results fast. So what you can do is if we want this to be uniform on all sides on X, Y, and Z, the same size, you could just go ahead and Control C, go here, Control V, boom, go there, Control V. But that just, as I said, takes a lot of time. So what I just did there is you click on the top one, hold your mouse button down, and drag down. As you can see, it turns gray. It turns them gray, and that basically selects all of them. And it gives all of them the amount you clicked on right here. So let's change it and put it to 5. Boom. It changed everything to 5 now. You can start on this one, drag down, it would just change these both. You could click on this one, drag up, it would change these. It's just a simple little trick that I always use to give something the same size or something. Yeah. So let's actually move our cube up right now. Click on the cube, click on move, and move it up. So here we go. Now we have our cube, but you still see the lighting is it's really strong. It's really strong. It's like hard to see the edges of the cube that we really need to see. So what we can do is we can click on our world properties and maybe change our sky power. Turn it down a bit. So not that much. But now you can see the cube is glossy. It's actually glossy because we applied the glossy material. It's reflecting the sun right over there. But for example, we can click on it now on this one. Click on it, not on the plane, on this. And maybe we want to make it really glossy, like a mirror. So we can go to roughness and turn the roughness down. Boom. Now we won't see anything reflect. Yeah. But this is like 100% reflective now. So we'll reflect everything. But our scene is like, it's white and all that stuff. That's why we're not seeing anything reflecting it. So let's actually get an HDRI. This is what gives your scenes realistic lighting, an HDRI. So let me just quickly open another tab in my browser, and I'll show you guys where you can get HDRIs for free and high quality ones. So I'm gonna go into my browser right here and type in HDRI Haven. And the first page that pops up is HDRI Haven, and you click on it, boom, you're on the page. It gives you basically, when you click on HDRIs up here, it gives you, I know how many there are, but there must be like 20,000 HDRIs that are like free. I'm sorry if I'm telling you wrong numbers, but I'm just trying to say that there are so many HDRIs on this page. And yeah, so basically I already have some downloaded, so I'm gonna minimize this and actually get a HDRI in here. But you're wondering now, like, how do I do that? You basically want to click on your world properties, or no, we're gonna do it different. We're gonna do it the, in quotation marks, easy way, but we're gonna do it with nodes. So yeah, we need our node editor right here, but this is just object nodes. How do we get into world nodes, world environment nodes? You click up here on object. It says object, so it's only showing us object nodes, the object that we've selected. So we want to go to object, and it says right here world. So we click on world, and this is gonna be a little bit messed up because it's still like, it still has some of the default ones from normal Blender in here, but we don't want that. There we go. So these are these ones. So you see they have the same settings. This is just like an easier interface to see them in. So, but if we want to do complex work, we gotta go into the world settings. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and delete all of them. It's gonna make our scene black, but that's how it is for right now. So we go and press Shift A and S and type in texture environment. We need a texture environment because we want a custom texture to be the environment. So we click on here, boom, texture environment, we have it right there. We plug out env, we plug that into Octane environment. That's going to make the entire environment white because our texture is white. But we don't want our texture to be white, so we want a texture. You see that there's a little like connecting thing right there. Sorry for my phone vibrating there. Put it on a different table. There we go. So what we can do is we can press Shift A for add, S for search, and type in texture. No, sorry. You type in image texture because you want the image to be the texture. So you go here. It's shortened. Image text. You get it out a little bit big, plop it down, and plug the out tags into the texture. Now it's black again because there's no texture in here. So we can go on open, and we go to, I'm gonna go to my assets folder where I have all my HDRIs in. Let me actually see. Yes. These are HDRIs, but these are JPEGs. What you're gonna download from these pages, from this page, is a .hdr file, and these are the same. You can use .hdrs the same as JPEGs. You can basically make anything you want with an image texture to be your environment. So I just got these JPEGs. So let's put something cloudy like this. Let's put high. Open image, and it puts it in there. Boom. You see? We now have the sky right here, but the floor is black because it's basically, you see they're cut off and they're black. But you can see if we scroll in on our object, and there you go. You see, it's reflective. There, you see it's good. It's a reflective object now. So let's go back and head into our objects, and yeah, maybe change our diffuse, because we don't want our diffuse to be white. Let's maybe make our diffuse pink. There you go. It's a pink object now. Here, if you turn off smooth, it's gonna display good. So you see, it's a reflective object. You can slightly see it in there. It's reflecting the clouds. Yeah, but now we want a metal material. We want metal. So what we're gonna do is, true, you guessed it, I'm gonna go here, get rid of that, and get a metal material. Boom. Put that there. Outmat surface. Boom. Material. Looks beautiful. Metal, I mean, sorry. To get this weird warping effect out of here, you can uncheck smooth, and it's gonna make this a pure block of metal. It's really cool. It's really cool. So what we can do now, maybe we can turn down the roughness to 0 again, and you see it's, yeah, you see now it's 100% reflective, and it's reflecting everything now. But if we turn the roughness like slightly up, there we go, we can get some beautiful like blurry looks inside of the metal. It's really cool. So maybe yeah, we are just playing around with the default nodes, and let me now show you what bump, normal, and displacement maps are. So let's get rid of these and get a glossy material, because that's basically what I always use. So what I do is I basically go and open my folder. I'm gonna open my folder right here. I'll put these in the description down below, these files. Let me just quickly search them, and I'll be right back when I've found them. So there we go, I'm back. I found the materials, and here they are. So basically, I have them right here. This is a AO texture. I don't know what it's called again. It's atmospheric something. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. Yeah. So this is displacement map. It says displacement. This is normal. This is a roughness, and this right here, it's diffuse. It's basically the color that your object is gonna have. So let's just drag all these on in here. You can just drag them in, and let me get this back and actually select the roughness to the normal and the displacement. Let's drag all these in here. Did it drag all of them? No, just it didn't drag all of them. So this is diffuse, roughness, normal, displacement. Put roughness. Did put roughness. There we go. Now we found them. Roughness right here, displacement right here, normal right there. So, I'm gonna just show you these textures. So this is gonna be our diffuse texture. This is the texture. This is the color of what you're gonna have. The color of your material. This right here is gonna be the map for the roughness. So basically, parts that are black on here that go into black are gonna be shiny, and parts that are white are gonna be rough. So black, entirely black, like the color black, is gonna be completely shiny, and so roughness 0, and white is gonna be rough, to totally completely rough. It's gonna be, the value is gonna be 1. So it's the same with normal. Normal is basically this just helps light in your scene reflect off of your objects. Like, it gives it depth, it gives it shadow, it gives it more cracks and crevices in your, like, it just gives you more detail for the shadow. And the displacement, it's basically the same. White parts, I think, are gonna be elevated, and black parts are gonna be deeper down. So let's actually get this out. So we got all the textures right here. So we're gonna start with our diffuse. It says diff right here. That's how I see what I'm working with. So diffuse, we're gonna plug diffuse into diffuse. Boom. It now has the diffuse texture. Let's actually not do this on the cube. Let's actually do this on our plane, because we can see the rocks better on here. So what we do is click up here, and I think we did it on the cube. Yes, we did it on the cube. Let's actually rename this to round, so we don't get confused. There we go. Now we have this texture on here. What we want to do now is we want to plug our next one in, and that's our, what is up next on the list? It's roughness. So roughness, we go here, plug in our roughness, and boom, our plane becomes, it's not that shiny anymore, you see, because it's now making it rough from the map. It's now, the map is now telling it how rough it should be. So normal is up next. Yeah, normal. Go here, normal, and plug our normal into our normal. Boom. You see, it instantly gave it more details. It looks now like, here, let me unplug it. There you go. Now it looks smooth and flat. It's like, it just looks like a sticker on there. But if we plug in the normal, it actually gives it some texture and helps the light reflect. So next one up is our displacement. But when you plug in our displacement, it's just not going to do anything. Now you may be wondering, why though? Because for a reason, because now it doesn't know how far, like how high it should displace the plane, because there is no information. So we got to put another node in here, and this node is called, you can just type displacement. It's called texture displacement. So you click on it, boom, put it there. Out text, the texture goes into this texture, and this right here, just dragged it a little bit further away, and this texture, this out displacement, goes into displacement. And you're gonna see in a second, it doesn't do anything. Why? Because you saw right here, it's 4K, so it's a 4K texture, and this is just set to 1024 by 1024. So that's 1K, but we need 4K. It's right there. We click on it, gives it some time. There we go. But we still don't see any displacement because our height is set to 0.001. If we bump up our height, you can see it's displacing it. You see, it's displacing the plane from the displacement map. And now you see, it gives us this beautiful looking displaced plane. You could turn this up to 8K to give it a little bit more detail on the rocks and all that stuff, but I wouldn't recommend it because you can see it starts looking kind of pixely when you put it to higher than it should be. So just leave it at what it says right here. Every material, every like JPEG image, like material, like the normal map, or like if you get a pack like I did, rocky ground, it should say what resolution it is. If not, just play around, you'll find it out. So now we have this, and we could do some cool stuff with this. Let's actually make some kind of render with this. So let's rotate this. Let's click on the plane, go to the object tab right here, and rotate it on. Oops, wrong axis. Wrong axis. Let's rotate it on this axis, just like that. I'm gonna start using the keybinds now. I'm gonna tell you when I use the keybinds. Okay? Sorry, I just hit my desk. I'm gonna tell you when I use the keybinds. So let's get in here and make a sphere. So instead of clicking on add and mesh and going all the way there, you can just click Shift A to pull the add menu, just like over here. Just Shift A, and it's going to pull up everything that is in here. So Shift A, mesh, and we want a UV sphere. Drag it up. There we go. We have our sphere. And yes, we have our sphere now. And right down here it says move. If you look down here, when I make a new shape, you might have noticed that it says something else, because it says, when I create this now, it says add UV sphere. And you can see on the UV sphere that there's these edges, these rough edges right here. Maybe hard to see right now. Yeah, here I can see it. This is a good angle. You can see all these tiles. These, when I go into edit mode, these are basically, this is the vertices. These are the vertices of this sphere. But this sphere has really low vertices, and it doesn't really look good because it's kind of rough and edgy on the sides. What we could do to fix this is right-click it, select the object, right-click, and click on Shade Smooth. It's basically going to smooth it out, but it's still, on the edges you can see, it still has the rough edges. It just blends them so it looks more natural. As you can see, it still has all these vertices. To fix that, for example, let's go Shade Flat again here. Let's make a new sphere. Shift A and add mesh, UV sphere. Boom. It says add UV sphere down here. You click on it, and now it tells you segments. It has 32 segments. So if we drag all these segments up, it's gonna create more segments on up. It's gonna create more up segments. And rings, if we turn these up, it's going to create more segments this way. So what it is doing, it's putting more rows into this. It's putting more rows. So segments are, I think, vertical. Yeah, segments go up and rings go around. Oh no, you know what I mean. I'm kind of confused right now. Yes. So you can see that I think it was the default was 16 on this one, and 32 up here. 32. That's stupid. 32. There it is. Yes. So if we basically turn these up to maybe, for example, 30 right here and 60 or 50 on this one, it's gonna give it more vertices and make it way smoother when we hit right click on Shade Smooth. So yes, this is something that I would do if you only had maybe this sphere in your scene, but I wouldn't recommend if you have a lot in your scene, because it really it makes the render time longer. So I wouldn't recommend if you have a lot of objects in your scene and you all give them like 100 vertices and all that stuff. It's gonna really slow down the render. So what we're going to do, another solution to this is if we go here and add a new sphere. You see, it still has all these. It saves it right here. So let's put it back to 32 and 16. 16, boom. So we can click on our object, select the sphere, go to our modifier properties, the thing I talked about in the last episode where we did the bendy thing. So we can click on add modifier, and there's something called, where is it? Subdivision Surface. If we click on this, you see, boom, it's smoothed out so much, but it still has these vertices. It's basically creating an, in quotation marks, illusion, I could say. So it's not actually doing it, but it's showing us like it did it, if you know what I mean. So if we turn down, it says right here viewport. In the viewport, it's giving it one subdivision. So like it's doing its effect one time on it in the viewport. So I will keep it at 1. And in the final render, it's gonna make it 2. So if we turn down viewport to 0, you see it's back to this like to the edgy thing on the edges, you can see on the pointy thing. But if we turn this up to like 5, I wouldn't recommend because it's gonna be really laggy, but you see now it still has these vertices, but it has all this. It looks really smooth now. So I would keep this at 1 and make the render like 2 or something, or like 3 if we want to go overkill, but 2 is enough. Yeah. So let's unhide our plane and move the sphere up. There we go. Boom. Let's position our camera right here, maybe, so we don't see the black background. All these files I'm using right now, I will be linking in a zip file in the description, so you can download and recreate what I'm doing right here. So what we can do is we can go and hit Control Alt, hold them down, and on the numpad press 0. Boom. That moves the camera to your current view. So what we can do now is we can click on our camera right here and press Control Shift and the tilde key. Wait, is it tilde? Okay, I think they removed it. It wasn't the. I was working in the old version. Sorry. What you have to do is you gotta click on camera and click on the outline right here, just selected, and you gotta press R twice to like rotate it, you know. And you can hold down Shift to make it rotate slower. And yes, when you have it selected, when you have it how you want it to be, click so it saves this position. You can scroll in. So this is what your final render is gonna be. Yeah. So what we can also do is we want to zoom out so it's not that close up to the sphere. What we can do is click on the camera and turn our focal length a little bit down. There we go. Or we could just move the camera back with our locations. So what we have now is a simple scene setup. Well, you could go and render this out, but I'm gonna do some cool stuff with this. So let's actually make this sphere glow. Yes, you heard right, glow. Okay, let's make it glow. So we click on here, make a new material, maybe call it glow, and there we go. This is only gonna work with the diffuse material. That's just why diffuse material is so good. So Shift A S diffuse. Boom. So now we have this, but it's not glowing. Why is it not glowing? We want this to glow, so let's make it glow by making it emit light. So you don't down here on the material it says emission. Oops. It says emission down here, and what we can do is we can go Shift A S and search emission. It's gonna give us black body emission and a texture emission. I always use black body emission. I don't really know the difference between them, but I still go with black body emission because I think it's better, because if you can see here, black body emission just has way more like things to play with, like temperature and all that stuff. So I would go with black body emission. It's more customizable, I would say now. So out emission, plug this into the emission, and you see it's now emitting light. We can't really see it emitting light because our background is overtaking it. So let's turn down the brightness of our HDRI in this case. So we can click on the world properties and go to power right here, and maybe hold down shift and drag it down. So you slowly drag it down. That would make it like that, maybe like this. And what we could do now is maybe like make a small planet out of this or something. So let's get out of the camera mode. So you just move with middle mouse wheel, just drag and move, boom, you're out of it. So what we can do now is make a new object. So Shift A and S, no, sorry, not S, hover on mesh and maybe make a torus. There you go. Let's hide the plane, and our torus is down here now, but it's still, you see, it looks really rough. So let's turn up the major no, not the major segment, let's turn up the minor segments a bit, like that, and unhide our plane again. I don't know why to unhide it. So here we have our torus. Shit. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna swear. I forgot to decrease the radius. So the radius of the torus, let's make this thinner, like that. I like that. So let's put it there and move it up so it's on our circle, and maybe press S to scale it up a bit, just like that. That looks center. It doesn't need to be center in this case. So let's press R to rotate and like make it tilted a bit. There we go. Now we have like a ring around our planet. Let's unhide the plane and get back in our camera view. So this ring looks offset, so we want to rotate. We don't want to rotate like this, like just how we see in this circle position. Let's actually press Shift spacebar, and it brings up this right here on the side. It's basically a faster way of just clicking on them. So Shift space, and we want to rotate in this case, so we click on it or press R, so we get this. Now we can we don't have to click on the red, the blue, or the green one. We can just hover here and click, and it's gonna rotate how you want it to be, like it's gonna be different, you will see. So let's do the same thing. Shift spacebar and move. So G, move it down a bit, move it to the side. Boom. There we go. Wait. Oh my god, my phone. Okay. Let's make this ring be a color. So let's make a new one and get a. We don't really need this to have a texture. So let's get a diffuse material and plug this in here, and let's make this maybe red or pink. I don't know. Let's make this like some blue, and let's make the planet actually glow blue. So how we do that? It says right here in the black body emission, it says texture. And what we can do is we can press Shift A and S and get a RGB spectrum texture. Boom. This is basically just a texture that puts out a color. So our text goes into texture because I want the texture to be a color. As you can see, it actually made it brighter. So let's turn down the power a bit because we don't want it to be that bright. Not too far. There we go. Let's make this be blue. There we go. This is just like a test scene. Guys, this is not supposed to be looking good. So yeah. Let's in the next video we're actually going to recreate one of my posts on my Instagram. So if you haven't checked out my Instagram, go look there. I do some great work, in my opinion. So go check it out. It will be worth it. There's some good stuff on there. We'll be recreating, if you want to see what we're recreating, we'll be recreating that like human figure walking on the like glossy floor. Here, I'm gonna show it to you actually. Let me just pull it up real quick. So here, so this is my Instagram. You can pull it up. Yeah, we'll be recreating this right here, this figure walking. It'll be really fun to do it because I'm really excited to show you guys. So after this tutorial, you actually like will be set in making stuff, because you really, the things you need is just knowing how to use nodes, because you can see we can create whatever we want if we have nodes and textures and objects. So just get some objects from the World Wide Web and put it in your scene. Maybe like make a cool metal material. I'll show you how to like add the scratches I had on the scene. I'll just show you on my Instagram. I'll show you all that in the next episode when we're gonna do the render. So this is just a test render. Phone, could you please shut up? Okay, so yes. Now we have this, and it's looking kind of shit actually. So let's maybe go to the camera right here and click on the camera tag down here. It's object data properties. So you gotta click on the camera to get this. So click on camera, click on the camera right down here, and scroll all the way down until it says Octane post processing. Check this. What this is going to do, this is going to make your scenes like 20 times better. So what it says bloom power is set to 1 right now. So let's turn this up. So bloom power, let's turn this up. You can see it's adding bloom to this light emitting source. So let's actually turn this to 20. That's what I use normally. And the glare power, you see it's like it's adding glares to it, but you can't really see it because the light in the background is overtaking this a little bit too much. So yeah, we will have better controlled lighting in the other scene I should show you on my Instagram. So let's actually get into how to render out your scene that you've created. You want to go to your output properties, what I told you yesterday, and set the size you want. So I'm just gonna go with 1500, just like that. And yeah, right here, max samples. Leave it at 500 if you want to. Make it more if you want to have like a better looking result, but I usually keep it at 500. No, I usually do 2000 because I want to get good looking renders. Like when you have reflections, it's gonna be really crucial to have a lot of samples with a lot of reflection, because there is also going to be a lot of noise in the reflections if you don't have a lot of samples. So max preview samples, it's these samples that you see in the viewport, but see up here 100, but we just want 500 in the final render. So let's get to it. What we do is we click on render and render image. Oh, it says viewport shading is active. Only one active render task is supported at the time. So what it's telling us is to please turn this viewport rendering off. And this is also a good example. If we look from here and click on render and render image here, let's wait until it shows. Boom, there it is. There's our final render. This is how our final render is gonna look. It's gonna show the render through the camera, you see, and you can see it's kind of dark right now. I don't know why it's kind of dark. Let's stop the render. The other one. Let's stop this. Let's X out of it. There we go. It may be that dark because we don't have in our camera right here. We don't have Octane camera imager. We don't have that turned on. Yeah, there we go. This is basically gonna show us the final result. It's kind of dark right now, so let's turn up the power of our background a bit again. Just like that, and let's render that out. So the shortcut to rendering is F11. Boom. There you go. Now it's rendering this scene. Oh, no, sorry. F11 is showing you the render you just did. If you press F12, that's what's going to render. Oop, turned off. Boom. There you go, guys. If you followed this tutorial, you made your first render. It looks kind of trash. I'm sorry. We're gonna do some cool stuff in the next episode. So, this, you can basically go save it. Basically go save this. Click on image and go. When it's done rendering, yeah, let's actually turn the samples down because it's rendering kind of slow. Go up, turn the samples down to like 100. Render image, render image. Sorry. Scroll out. It's going to show you the active samples up here. Boom, there it is. This is how it's going to look like when it's done. So you click on image, save as, and you save it wherever you want. So this is how you do your render. Okay, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. This episode is 50 minutes long, and it's gonna take a long time to render. So if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like. It's really appreciated. It keeps me motivated to bringing you guys this content, making this for you guys. So I'll really appreciate a like on the video to see that I should do more. So I'm going to see you in part 3. I'm probably going to record it today too. So stay tuned for that. They're both going to be launching today when you see this. So yeah, if not, I'm sorry that it doesn't come up today, but I'm going to shut up now. You guys are going to do some cool renders next time. What am I talking about? I'll see you. Bye.